What if the people who broke your heart, betrayed your trust, or doubted your worth were the very ones who handed you the keys to your greatest transformation? Welcome to Jung Psyche Hub, where we dive deep into Carl Jung's timeless wisdom to unlock your inner power. Today, we're redefining revenge, not as a fight, not as a comeback, but as a rebirth. Imagine this. You rise so high that those who hurt you can't even see you anymore. Not because you pushed them down, but because you've built a life so extraordinary, they're left in the dust. Inspired by Carl Jung's teachings on the shadow and individuation, this video will show you how to turn pain into power, silence into strength, and betrayal into your blueprint for success. Are you ready to make your scars the stepping stones to a life that's untouchable? Let's dive in. Let's get one thing straight. Revenge isn't what you think it is. It's not about screaming matches, petty clapbacks, or sinking to the level of those who hurt you. That's not power. That's just noise. True revenge, the kind that leaves a lasting mark, is about transforming yourself into someone so unstoppable that the people who betrayed you, doubted you, or tried to break you become irrelevant. And no one understood this better than Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist who taught us that our deepest wounds are the doorway to our greatest strengths. Carl Jung believed that every one of us carries a shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves we don't like to face. It's the anger, the pain, the insecurities we bury deep. When someone hurts you, they don't just wound your heart. They shine a spotlight on that shadow. They force you to confront the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. And here's the game changer. Instead of running from that pain, Carl Jung says, you should lean into it. Why? Because your shadow isn't just a place of darkness. It's a goldmine of untapped potential. The betrayal you faced, the lies you were told, the moments you felt small, those aren't defeats. They're invitations to step into a version of yourself that's stronger, wiser, and untouchable. Let's paint a picture. Imagine Sarah, a young graphic designer who poured her heart into a startup, only to be betrayed by her business partner. He took credit for her work, spread lies about her, and left her with nothing but a bruised ego and a broken dream. Sarah could have spent her days plotting ways to expose him, to drag his name through the mud. But instead, she chose a different path. She asked herself one simple question: what would hurt him more than my anger, my success? Sarah dove into her craft, took online courses, built a portfolio that turned heads, and landed clients her former partner could only dream of. 2 years later, she was speaking at design conferences while he was still stuck in the same small circle, whispering her name with envy. That's revenge, not because she attacked him, but because she outgrew him. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the process of becoming your truest, most authentic self, is the heart of this kind of revenge. Individuation isn't about proving yourself to others. It's about proving yourself to you. It's about taking every scar, every tear, every moment of doubt, and using them as raw material to build a life that reflects who you were always meant to be. When someone hurts you, they expect you to stay broken. They expect you to fight back, to argue, to beg for their validation. But when you choose growth over grudges, you're not just winning, you're rewriting the rules of the game. Here's the truth. The people who hurt you don't get to define you. They don't get to decide how your story ends. Every time they tried to push you down, they were handing you a choice. Stay small or rise bigger. And rising bigger doesn't mean getting even. It means getting better. It means taking the energy you could have wasted on resentment and channeling it into something undeniable: your growth, your peace, your purpose. Carl Jung taught us that the shadow holds both our pain and our power. When you face it head-on, you unlock a kind of strength that no one can take away. Let's break this down with another example. Think about Marcus, a guy who grew up in a tough neighborhood where everyone told him he'd never amount to anything. His high school teacher laughed when he said he wanted to be an engineer. Stick to something realistic, she said. Those words stung. But Marcus didn't let them define him. Instead, he used them as fuel. He worked nights, studied through exhaustion, and earned a scholarship to a top engineering school. Today, Marcus designs bridges literal and metaphorical, while that teacher's words are just a faint echo in his rearview mirror. That's what Carl Jung's wisdom teaches us. The people who doubt you don't get the final say. You do. And your final say isn't a shout. It's a life that speaks louder than their skepticism ever could. So, how do you start this kind of revenge? It begins with a single question. What's the one thing I can do today to become the person they never thought I could be? Maybe it's signing up for that course you've been putting off. Maybe it's journaling about your pain to understand what it's teaching you. Maybe it's setting a boundary with someone who's been draining your energy. Whatever it is, make it intentional. Carl Jung believed that transformation starts with awareness. You can't change what you don't see. So, look at your pain. Look at your shadow. Ask yourself, what's this hurt trying to teach me? What strength is hiding behind this wound? Here's a practical step you can take right now. Grab a notebook and write down one moment when someone made you feel small. Then, write down one action you can take to prove them wrong, not to them, but to yourself. Maybe it's waking up an hour earlier to work on your side hustle. Maybe it's saying no to someone who's been taking advantage of you. Every small step you take is a brick in the foundation of a life that's bigger than their betrayal. Carl Jung's philosophy reminds us that revenge isn't about destruction, it's about creation. You're not tearing someone else down. You're building yourself up. You're not fighting their lies. You're living your truth. And the more you live that truth, the less power their words have over you. The best revenge is a life so full, so vibrant, so undeniably you, that the people who hurt you can't even find a place in your story anymore. They become footnotes while you write the chapters of a life they never saw coming. So, let's make a pact right now. Stop giving your energy to the people who don't deserve it. Stop letting their actions dictate your worth. Instead, take every ounce of pain, every sting of betrayal, and use it as fuel to become the person you were always meant to be. That's the revenge. Carl Jung would have cheered for the kind that doesn't just heal you, but transforms you into a force no one can ignore. Silence isn't weakness. It's not surrender. It's not you waving a white flag and admitting defeat. Silence is a weapon, a strategy, a shield that protects your energy and amplifies your power. When someone hurts you, they expect you to scream, to argue, to spill your heart, trying to prove you're right. They feed on your reaction, your chaos, your attention, but when you choose silence, you pull the plug on their power. You take back control, and in that quiet space, you start building something they'll never see, becoming a stronger, wiser, untouchable version of yourself. Carl Jung would call this the path to individuation, listening to your inner self instead of wasting energy on those who don't deserve it. Let's talk about why silence is so powerful. When you go silent, you're not just refusing to engage with their drama, you're choosing yourself. You're saying, my peace is worth more than your provocation. You're stepping out of their game and into your own. Carl Jung believed that true strength comes from aligning with your inner self, what he called the self with a capital S. The self isn't swayed by petty arguments or the need to prove a point. It's steady, focused, and unshakable. When you stay silent, You're not running away. You're redirecting every ounce of your energy toward your growth. Your goals. Your glow-up. Picture this, Emily. A young writer was humiliated by a toxic friend group who mocked her dreams of publishing a novel. They called her ideas unrealistic, laughed at her drafts, and made her feel like she'd never make it. At first, Emily wanted to fight back, to post on social media and call them out. But then she remembered something. Her therapist, Carl Jung, enthusiast, told her, "Don't waste your words on people who don't hear you. Let your work speak instead." So, Emily went silent. She stopped texting them, stopped seeking their approval, stopped caring about their opinions. She poured every ounce of her energy into her writing. She woke up at 5 a.m. to draft chapters, attended workshops, and networked with editors. 2 years later, her novel hit the shelves. And her old friends, they were tagging her in posts, trying to claim a piece of her success. Emily didn't respond. Her silence had already said everything. That's the magic of silence. It's not empty. It's full of intention. It's you deciding that your energy is too valuable to waste on people who don't see your worth. Carl Jung's teachings remind us that silence creates space for self-reflection, a key part of confronting your shadow. When you're not shouting back, you're listening to yourself. You're asking, what do I really want? What's my next step? That's where transformation begins. Silence isn't passive. It's active. It's you plotting, planning, and building in the dark, while others think you've disappeared. Here's how you can harness silence as a strategy. First, recognize when you're tempted to react. Maybe it's a snarky comment from a coworker, a backhanded jab from a family member, or a betrayal from someone you trusted. Your instinct might be to defend yourself, to set the record straight. Pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, will arguing with this person change anything? Or will it just drain me? 9 times out of 10. It's the latter. Instead, channel that energy into something productive. Write down your goals. Sign up for a course. Hit the gym. Do something that moves you closer to the life you want, not the fight they're trying to pull you into. Let's look at another example. James, a software developer, was passed over for a promotion by a boss who dismissed his contributions. The old James would have stormed into the office, demanding an explanation. But after reading about Carl Jung's idea of the shadow, he realized that reacting in anger would only make him look small. So, he chose silence. He didn't complain, didn't gossip, didn't post cryptic rants online. Instead, he focused on upskilling. He learned new coding languages, built side projects, and started freelancing. Within a year, James landed a job at a top tech company with a salary double what his old boss could offer. When his former colleagues reached out, fishing for details, James didn't respond. His success was his response. His silence had been his strategy. Here's a practical tip to make silence work for you. Practice conscious silence. The next time someone tries to drag you into their drama, write down what you want to say, but don't put it in a journal, a note on your phone, anywhere but their inbox. Then, replace that urge to react with an action that serves your growth. Maybe it's spending 30 minutes on a passion project. Maybe it's meditating to reconnect with your inner self. Carl Jung believed that self-awareness is the foundation of transformation, and silence gives you the space to build that awareness. Every time you choose not to react, you're choosing to invest in yourself. Silence also sends a message louder than words ever could. When you stop engaging, you stop feeding the cycle of drama. You let the people who hurt you sit with their own actions. And trust me, they feel it. They feel the absence of your attention, the void where their chaos used to live. They start to wonder what you're up to, what you're building, because they know your silence isn't defeat, it's discipline. It's you saying, "I'm too busy becoming someone you'll never understand." And when you emerge from that silence with a life they can't touch, that's when they realize they underestimated you. Carl Jung's wisdom teaches us that silence is a bridge to your inner power. It's not about hiding, it's about healing. It's not about disappearing, it's about reappearing as someone they can't ignore. So, the next time someone tries to pull you into their chaos, don't take the bait. Go silent. Protect your peace. Focus on your purpose. Let your actions, your growth, your success, your glow do the talking. Because in the end, the loudest revenge isn't a shout. It's the quiet confidence of a life well lived. Pain doesn't feel like a gift when it hits. It feels like a punch to the gut, a knife in the back, a weight you can't carry. But here's the truth. Carl Jung knew better than anyone. Pain isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. It's not here to destroy you, it's here to reveal you. Every betrayal, every heartbreak, every moment you felt broken is a lesson in disguise, waiting for you to uncover its wisdom. Carl Jung taught us that the shadow, the parts of ourselves we hide, like our pain and insecurities, holds the key to our transformation. When you face your pain head-on, you don't just survive it, you turn it into the fuel that launches you into a life no one saw coming. Let's be real, when someone hurts you, it's easy to get stuck. You replay the moment they betrayed you, the words they said, the way they made you feel small. It's like a loop in your mind, stealing your peace, your focus, your power. But Carl Jung's philosophy flips the script. He saw pain as a signal, a wake-up call from your psyche, telling you it's time to grow. The shadow, where your pain lives, isn't just a place of darkness. It's where your strength is forged. When you lean into that pain, when you ask, "What is this teaching me?" you start to see it for what it really is. A map to your resilience, a blueprint for your comeback. Take Lisa, a single mom who went through a gut-wrenching divorce. Her ex didn't just leave, he tore her down, telling her she'd never make it on her own. For months, Lisa felt crushed, questioning her worth, wondering if she'd ever feel whole again. Then she stumbled across Carl Jung's idea of the shadow in a book. Instead of running from her pain, she decided to face it. She started journaling every night, asking herself, "What is this heartbreak teaching me about who I am?" Through those pages, she discovered a strength she didn't know she had. She went back to school, became a therapist, and built a life where she helps others heal. Her ex, he's still stuck in the same cycle of bitterness, while Lisa's pain became her purpose. That's what pain does when you let it teach you. It doesn't just heal you, it rebuilds you. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the journey to becoming your truest self, relies on embracing your shadow, pain, and all. When someone hurts you, they expose parts of you that need attention. Maybe it's your fear of rejection, your need for approval, or your struggle to set boundaries. Pain shines a light on those weaknesses. Not to shame you, but to show you where to grow. It's like a teacher who doesn't sugarcoat the truth, but pushes you to be better. When you listen to that teacher, you don't just overcome the hurt, you become a version of yourself that's stronger, wiser, and more authentic than ever before. Let's look at another story. Meet Alex, a college student who was bullied for being different. His classmates mocked his quirky style, his quiet nature, calling him weird and out of place. It hurt deeply, and for a while, Alex tried to change himself to fit in. But one day, he read about Carl Jung's idea that the shadow contains not just our flaws but our unique strengths. Alex decided to embrace his weirdness instead of hiding it. He started a YouTube channel where he shared his unique perspective through art and storytelling. Today, Alex has thousands of followers who love him for the very quirks his bullies mocked. His pain didn't break him. It showed him who he was meant to be. So, how do you turn pain into your teacher? Start by changing how you see it. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What is this pain here to teach me?" Grab a journal and write down the moment that hurt you most. Then, list 3 things that pain revealed about you. Maybe it showed you your resilience, your ability to keep going, or a dream you've been ignoring. Carl Jung believed that self-awareness is the first step to transformation, and pain is one of the fastest ways to get there. It strips away the illusions, the fake friends, the false comforts, and leaves you with nothing but the truth of who you are. Here's a practical step. Try a journaling exercise called the shadow dialogue. Write a letter to your pain as if it's a person. Ask it, "What do you want me to learn? What strength are you trying to show me then?" Write its response. You'll be surprised at the wisdom that comes through. Maybe your pain is teaching you to trust yourself more. Maybe it's showing you that you're stronger than you thought. Whatever it says, listen. Then, take one small action based on that lesson. Maybe it's signing up for therapy to heal old wounds. Maybe it's pursuing a passion you've buried because someone told you it was unrealistic. Every step you take turns your pain into power. Pain also teaches you boundaries. When someone hurts you, they show you who they are and who you need to protect yourself from. Carl Jung believed that confronting the shadow helps you integrate all parts of yourself, including the part that knows how to say no. If your pain came from someone crossing your boundaries, use it as a lesson to build stronger ones. Say no to toxic relationships. Say no to people who dim your light. Say yes to yourself, your dreams, your worth. That's how pain becomes your armor. The beauty of pain as a teacher is that it never lies. It's raw. It's real. And it's relentless in showing you what matters. The people who hurt you thought they could define you with their actions. They thought their betrayal would be your ending. But pain doesn't end you, it begins you. It cracks you open, so the real you can shine through. Every tear you've cried, every night you felt lost, every moment you thought you couldn't go on, those were the moments you were learning to become unstoppable. So, let your pain teach you. Let it show you the strength you didn't know you had. Let it guide you to a life that's bigger than the people who tried to break you. Carl Jung would tell you that your pain is a sacred teacher, a fire that forges you into someone no one can touch. Don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Embrace it. Learn from it. And let it launch you into a future where your scars are your strength and your story is your victory. Success isn't just a destination, it's a declaration. It's the moment you rise from the ashes of betrayal, doubt, and pain, not just to survive, but to thrive. When you've been hurt, when someone's tried to bury you under their lies or diminish your worth, success is your ultimate act of defiance. It's you saying, "You thought you could break me, but you only made me stronger." Carl Jung would call this the pinnacle of individuation, the process of becoming your truest, most authentic self. Success doesn't just silence your critics, it renders them irrelevant. It's not about proving them wrong with words. It's about living a life so extraordinary that their doubts can't touch you. Let's break it down. Success, in Jung's terms, isn't just about money, titles, or applause. It's about wholeness, It's about building a life that reflects who you are at your core, a life of purpose, peace, and unshakable confidence. When you achieve that, the people who hurt you don't just lose their power over you, they lose their place in your world. They become spectators to a story they never thought you'd write. Carl Jung believed that individuation is about integrating every part of yourself, your pain, your shadow, your dreams into a version of you that's unstoppable. Success is the moment you step into that version and leave the past behind. Consider Maria, a small business owner, whose partner cheated her out of her share of their company. The betrayal left her financially drained and emotionally shattered. She could have spent years fighting legal battles or wallowing in anger, but Maria chose a different path. Inspired by Jung's idea of individuation, she saw the betrayal as a chance to rebuild herself. She started over, launched a new business, and focused on creating a brand that reflected her values. She worked late nights, learned marketing, and connected with mentors who believed in her. 3 years later, her company was thriving, featured in magazines. While her former partner's business floundered, Maria didn't need to say a word. Her success spoke louder than any argument ever could. Her resurrection wasn't just financial, it was personal. She became a woman who knew her worth, and no one could take that away. Success as resurrection means you don't just recover, you reinvent. You take every scar and turn it into a stepping stone. You take every doubt and use it as fuel. Carl Jung taught us that the shadow isn't just a place of pain, it's a reservoir of potential. When you channel that potential into your goals, you don't just overcome the people who hurt you, you outgrow them. You create a life so full, so vibrant, that their betrayal becomes a distant memory, a footnote in a story that's now about your triumph. Let's look at another example. David, a musician, was told by his bandmates that he'd never make it solo. They mocked his songwriting, called him average, and kicked him out of the group. The rejection stung, but David didn't let it define him. He dove into Jung's teachings and realized that his pain was a signal to embrace his unique voice, instead of begging to be let back in. He went to work. He wrote songs that poured from his soul, performed at open mics, and built a small but loyal fan base. Today, David's music streams in the millions. While his old bandmates are still playing the same small gigs, his success wasn't just about streams or fame, it was about becoming the artist he was always meant to be. That's resurrection, turning rejection into redirection, pain into purpose. So, how do you make success your resurrection? Start by defining what success means to you. For some, it's financial freedom. For others, it's inner peace or pursuing a passion. Carl Jung's individuation process asks you to look inward and ask, what does my truest self want? Once you know that, set one clear, measurable goal. Maybe it's running a 5 Kelvin to prove you're stronger than the person who called you weak. Maybe it's finishing a project you've been scared to start. Whatever it is, break it into small steps and take action every day. Success isn't a single moment, it's a series of choices that build a life no one can touch. Here's a practical step. Create a resurrection roadmap. Write down one big goal that feels like your ultimate act of defiance against those who hurt you. Then, list 3 small actions you can take this week to move toward it. For example, if your goal is to start a business, your actions might be researching your market, drafting a business plan, or reaching out to a mentor. Every step you take is a brick in the foundation of your new life. Carl Jung would say that each action is a step toward integrating your shadow, turning your pain into power, your doubts into drive. Success also means letting go of the need for approval. The people who hurt you don't get to validate your worth anymore. You do, when you succeed. You're not doing it for their applause, you're doing it for the person you see in the mirror. That's what makes you untouchable. Jung's Individuation teaches us that true success is about alignment with your inner self, not external validation. When you live that truth, the people who doubted you become irrelevant. They're stuck in their small world, while you're building an empire of your own, whether that empire is a business, a creative project, or a life of unshakable peace. Your resurrection isn't just about you, it's a beacon for others. When you rise, you show everyone who's been hurt, doubted, or betrayed that they can rise too. Your success becomes a story that inspires, a proof that pain doesn't have the final word. Carl Jung would remind us that the individuated self isn't selfish, it's a gift to the world. So, don't just succeed for yourself. Succeed for the person you were when you felt broken. Succeed for the people who need to see that it's possible. This is your moment. Your pain, your scars, your story, they're not your shame. They're your strength. Success is your resurrection. Your way of saying, I'm still here, and I'm better than ever. Let the people who hurt you watch from the sidelines as you build a life they can't touch. Let your glow be so bright, they can't look away. That's not just revenge, it's rebirth. It's you stepping into the fullest, most powerful version of yourself, guided by Jung's wisdom, unstoppable by anyone's doubts. Your pain is not your prison, it's your power. Every scar, every betrayal, every moment you felt broken was never meant to end you. It was meant to awaken you. With Carl Jung's wisdom lighting the way, you've learned how to redefine revenge, harness, silence, turn pain into your greatest teacher, and rise through success as your ultimate resurrection. You are not the person they tried to break. You are the storm they never saw coming, the force they can't stop, the light they can't dim. This is your moment to take back your story. Don't let the people who hurt you have the final word. Let your life, your growth, your peace, your unstoppable spirit speak louder than their doubts ever could. If this video ignited something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and join the Jung Psyche Hub community for more insights to unlock your inner power. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, someone ready to rise above their pain. And drop a comment below. What's one step you're taking today to reclaim your power and build a life that's untouchable? Let's inspire each other. Your resurrection starts now.